So we're good to go.
Wait,
I
so
guess
do
so.
you guys sing, or how's that work for you guys?
No. Well, except for, yeah, let's go.
It's can't get right. No, you are a fruit.
I wish what we had done was I wish that after they started Can't Get Right, I wish we had also started a podcast called Can't Get Right. And then every weekend they recorded, I want to load a transcript of their show, and then we just do the same exact show after them.
That would be excellent.
Just like, and also load it to, and never acknowledge that their show exists.
What show? Exactly.
I didn't
Anyway.
Sorry.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name is Mikey T. I'm joined today by
I'm Tristan. What's going on?
and then everybody's lovable slab of meat, Toro.
What's up?
This is the Last Call podcast. This is our third one. Hopefully, we'll get the video working this time because I hate technology, but
I'm sure it won't.
it probably won't. So
This
anyway.
whole screen, we're gonna get about 45 minutes into this. That screen's gonna go black.
in the meantime, just keep listening to the audio. That'll be good enough.
For those of you who found us here on iTunes, you can also reach us. You can listen to us on SoundCloud if you want. SoundCloud.com/The Last Call Podcast. And we have a website where you can download our show, see some updates. LastCallPodcast.com. Yeah, you can get to it there. It's actually kind of nice looking. I'm pleased.
It's much better than Last Call podcast.
LastCallPodcast.com. I should have just kept that one just to have it redirect. That would have been better. I should have had Last Call Podcast redirect to the Can't Get Right website.
Just in case
That's
anyone
what I
else
should
had
have
the
done.
same typo. All right. Well, let's flip our magical Jafar stand and get the hour started. Well, as I bump all the equipment, just
I never
fuck up
noticed. I
everything.
want to mic that thing up next time. It makes like an ominous sound when you flip it over and the sand starts
when it
hitting the
first
glass
hits
at the
the glass.
bottom.
It is kind of creepy.
Lets you know you're in danger.
Well, what do we want to talk about first? We'll jump into TV, video games.
You mentioned before we got the podcast started, and I am really curious. You said you saw a preview video of the GTA biker gangs. I'm just curious your initial does it look cool? Does it look stupid? Like
I like it. I wasn't sure what to expect because I didn't know if they were going like pure like Sons of Anarchy type biker gangs or if it was going to be, like what's the name of that Baltimore the guys on the dirt bikes and they go around
Midnight
Baltimore.
Boys.
Yeah, or whatever that kind of shit. And you can do all of it.
I want a biker gang like Biker Boys. That's what I want.
I don't even know.
You don't know Biker Boys?
I feel like that's a good thing by the way you reacted.
If there is like a male, if I have like my own version of Twilight for girls, it is Biker Boys.
That sounds terrible. And I'm absolutely judging you right now.
It is a movie that revolves around black sport bike culture. Like they have their own like clubs and
was it on it was on like Netflix or something, wasn't it?
Well, it was a real movie at one point. It was probably on Netflix at some point. No, this is from probably, I don't know, I want to say like 2004, 2005, somewhere in there. But oh man, the guy, it's not Tyrese. There's a guy, it's like bullshit Bizarro Tyrese Gibson stars in it.
Bizarro Tyrese.
Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is the old mentor. His name is Smoke. And he is the guy that nobody can beat because he's on a Hayabusa that's like super duper fast. And Kid Rock plays Lawrence Fishburne's biggest rival.
Wow. God. There's no way that's not a great movie.
Sounds awesome.
Oscar bait.
It is horrendous, and I love it, and I watch it at least once a year because that's the kind of person I am.
So I poured our usual Jameson, but I forgot. It's Taco Tuesday, and we should have done the tequila. Of course,
yeah.
That's the only way we got Toro here is I have a fridge full of Mountain Dew, and he stopped at Taco Bell on the way. Fuck you, Toro.
It was delicious.
Anyway, here, I'll hand out. Let's hand out the shots. All right, you get one. You can go fuck yourself.
Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday and it's National Taco Day.
Yep.
Like they aligned for once.
Oh, is that like the
the
planets
only
and the
time?
stars line?
What does this happen every 8 years or something like that? Is these two align?
Is this what Toro's horoscope? Your horoscope mentions like food holidays, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Somebody put a meme today that you'll appreciate. It was like, today is not only Taco Tuesday, but it is also National Taco Day. Let's go, people. This is what we've trained for.
It's the Tacolypse.
The Tacolypse. Cheers to the Tacolypse.
To the Tacolypse.
To Tacolypse.
All right. Well, anyway, back to GTA.
Okay, so you can do the cruisers. You can do the.
Yeah, they've always had a wide variety of bikes and vehicles, of course, in the game. But what I like that they added, that they've been doing it with a bunch of things like the CEO stuff and the organizations. I forget the VIPs or whatever, which are all essentially the same things, but you get different setups. And this apparently is that as well. You can make your own like biker clubhouse, but you can design it.
Yes.
So of course I'm like, customization. Yep. Looks like I'm gonna drop another $100 into the game because I don't want to.
You're gonna drop on $100. Shit.
Yeah, Toro's up to like a small fortune that he spent on the game.
Take my money.
Yeah.
I
Shut
can
up and take my money.
can start my own biker gang with a clubhouse.
With the money I spent in that game, I probably could have started my own a long time ago.
And yeah, you probably could have bought
You
actual
could have bought
bikes.
real cars and motorcycles.
Probably.
But what looks really good is it has all the customization and stuff. Like you design your clubhouse, but it's like it has the stuff you'd expect where it's like skulls and like machinery and stuff. It looks like Sons of Anarchy.
Yep.
But then you can get the one with like a bunch of like urban dressed dudes on crotch rockets and shit. And
Mikey, stop! I can only get so hard.
Penis can only get so erect.
You're gonna keep people from ever going to the video podcast because they're like, I'm not sure if he's telling the truth or not. And
You're lucky I'm sitting.
Oh god. But I didn't really see like how much you can get involved. Like all over YouTube, they had people like live streaming. But I'm not trying to sit there and watch like 40 minutes of somebody playing the game. Like
We're just driving down the road.
Yeah, I wanted like a highlight to tell me what is in the game. They don't really have that yet. I guess it just came out.
You had me at Jack Dudes on crotch rockets. You heard me. You heard me.
Super gay. This is not Dixon Cast. That's where you go for all the gay. But it looks really good. Like. But it's definitely another way to just suck money out of people, because I think if you want to have the biker gang, like the headquarters, the clubhouse or whatever, it's probably another $1 billion or something in the game, which equates to $100, $150 of real money.
Oh, I'll split it. Yeah, I'll go in.
This game's been out for how long now? 5 years?
Something like that.
And it still comes out with these updates.
It is pretty impressive.
Oh, man,
I feel
crazy.
like that's the new model of gaming, though, right? Like, I feel like the next iteration is to now there are some companies that are fucking it up. I feel like the next iteration of gaming is to come out with a really solid core product that mechanics are sound, graphics are sound, everything works, and then annually put out, or biannually or quarterly put out quality expansion content for it. Now, you can't put out a piece of shit skeleton of a game and then be like, here's the rest of the map.
That was a horrible game. Just so you know.
Well, that was the model that they were unintentionally going for a while there. And people were getting upset because they thought the whole downloadable patches it allowed developers to just release broken shit.
Right.
And then we'll fix it later, and
yeah, I mean, a lot
of games lost some people because of that shit.
I'm not on board with like the shooters that come out and there's like a 4-hour single player experience and you get 6 maps and then they're like, oh, day 1 DLC, 12 more maps. Fuck you. You had that ready. That should have been in the goddamn box.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to charge me with more money 6 months down the line, that's.
I think I heard that Gears 4 or whatever they're on, when that comes out, it's supposed to have like an 11 gigabyte
update right from the start. Stupid.
Cool. I mean, I'm on board with that. That means they printed the disc a while ago and they're still working on it and they're gonna give you all that shit that's there, like, or there's a lot of shit that was super
Well, at least it's free.
broken.
They're not charging you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I guess that's all right. But it's
day one patches, big day one patches, I'm okay with. But day one, like, hey, here's some stuff you can have, but there's other stuff you can't. Yeah, fuck you.
I don't know. It'll work out.
Yeah.
What are you playing right now, Toro? Anything? Just GTA? Are you playing anything else?
Well, right now, GTA. I was playing a lot of Overwatch for a little bit.
Yeah, I just can't get back into it.
I can't. I can't. I went out like what? I went like 2 weeks without playing Xbox, and it's just fucked up my entire. Like all my skill levels are completely shit now.
Yeah, it was a super fun game for like a month and a half, 2 months, and then as soon as I put it down for 2 weeks.
I know if I went and picked it up again and was playing with people, I'd absolutely have fun with it again.
I mean, it's not. I'm saying it's not fun. It's just that, going back to it, you just feel like you suck in comparison to everyone else.
Well, that's your gaming cycle, Toro.
Yeah. Well,
he buys every single game.
Not every game. That's an exaggeration.
And plays for 2 weeks and then trades it in to buy the next game. Or
actually, I still keep the games. I just have them collecting dust.
Just a big pile of shame, as Caleb used to call it. At least you play them, though.
I wouldn't call them shame, but
When I was probably 17, 18, something like that, I was working at a video game store. Outside the mall, small town, like we had kind of regular customers. And it was one of the saddest things I ever had. We had this kid. He was maybe, I don't know, 11. His name was Dieter. He was a super cool little kid. He used to come in all the time. You remember Dieter? So, like, Dieter's parents had bought him a ton of stuff for, like, birthdays and Christmas and PlayStation and tons of games. And he had all this video game stuff. And then one day he figured out, I think he was kind of a latchkey kid. Like, he could just walk to the store. And he figured out that he could trade in his old games and buy new games, right? And it was awesome. But he would have to trade in like 3 games to get 1 game. And so he would trade in 3 games and get 1 game. And then he'd trade in 3 other games to get 1 game. And over the course of about 6 months, this kid's just cycled down his entire video game collection until all he had was 1 system and 1 game. And he's asking me like if he can trade in that 1 game for 1 shittier game. And I'm like, Dieter, just stop, man. Like
he's chasing the dragon, man. He can't get that same high.
It was so fucking sad. It was like an 11-year-old drug addict. It was the saddest shit I ever saw.
What was the name of that? Because that reminded me.
And then he had to move away, and his mom brought me cookies. That was a happy memory. Go ahead.
No. Remember that little dipshit kid that also went by the game store that he threatened Dieter or something? Do you remember? Is that?
Oh yeah, there was. Oh yeah, there was
shitty guy on the bike.
Fucking kid that threatened Dieter. You were there that day, right? And we told that kid to fuck off.
I threatened to chase him down on his bike in my car, and then proceeded to do so.
That's fucking right.
Scared the life out of that kid.
I forgot about that. We were like 17, 18, and that kid was probably 13, 14. And he was picking on this 10-year-old that we knew. And we were like, fuck that noise. I'd forgotten about that. It's justified to pick on kids who are younger than you are.
Yeah, as long as it's because they're picking on kids that are younger than them.
Yeah. As long as you have good reason.
It's all bullying is justified if it's in the name of good.
I wish I was good at video editing. I just had like this image in my head of the Lion King and like the monkey holding up the lion cub, except it's Mikey's head.
oh God! And then his arms break off because my head's enormous.
We rounded off week 4 of fantasy football, and the Last Call Fantasy Football League is in full swing. My true colors have come to the surface. Started off strong. Now I'm 2-2. I lost the squeaker to Toro, although it was a shitty squeaker. It was like 76 to 7.
Yeah,
it was like 76 to 74 or something like that. It was fucking horrendous.
Ugh, I hate fantasy football. I don't know why I do this to myself.
I don't know either. Like, why would I hand somebody $100 to compete in something I know I'm going to lose?
Yeah, because I routinely argue that it's like 75% luck and 25% skill.
Yeah, and I beat you 2 weeks in a row in 2 different leagues.
Huh? Yeah, and on paper, you're my only loss in the other league.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and I should have mopped the floor with you. You had the shittiest team.
I did.
I
did.
That was the week that I had Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham put up a combined 10 points.
Oh yeah.
That's the I'm 1-3 in that league. Just so you know.
I'm his only win, and I'm number 1 in that league,
Jesus.
and I'm way in last in my league. I am 0-4. I have never done so poorly.
But see, I feel like that stuff happens, right? Like that's gambling variance. But
Yeah.
I feel like generally the people who win fantasy football leagues are the people. I don't think it's 75% luck. I think it's probably 25-40% luck, but it's mostly skill. I think it's mostly knowledge.
I don't believe that at all.
Because in the end, not week to week, in the end, the champions. I mean, most of the time, most of the people who've ever won my league are guys who try hard and know about the league and actively work their rosters.
But that's the thing. You can absolutely make poor decisions and, good, things that look good on paper. But it's like, if you saw the matchup, like he had, like his people were hurt.
Oh God!
He
so
had
many injuries this year. This is some bullshit.
Mikey's so salty right now because he picked this loss. He's like, fantasy football's a sham.
Because he had like a team full of scrubs, and it's like they scored more points in that one game than they have the entire rest of the season, and I had the opposite that happen, and it's just like. You can't plan for that. Like if you looked on paper and you asked 1,000 people, 1,000 people would say that
he should have won.
He
should have.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean that stuff happens.
Like in my league, my whole team's just hurt. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. Like I had a pretty solid team. I didn't think I was going to do great, but my team's shitting. It's like. I had an okay team to start, and then everyone got hurt, and I have nothing now. And then I fucked up my waivers. It's like, so the 25% skill that's there, I managed to fuck that up.
Right. Yeah.
So then it's like I had no chance. It's like
Sunday,
steady downward spiral.
Sunday at 4:00, you realize you didn't even put in any waivers. Like you're not sure if you started a defense. Like, well. Fuck it.
At this point, yeah, feels that way. I know. I think I'm dead last in the Portales league too. It's pretty bad. I'm getting blown out every single week. This week, I had like 50 something points to like 148 or some shit. I got shit on. It was bad.
Well, you go super non-conventional. Like you're always like writing in names for people who you want to draft.
Tatro does that.
Tatro does that a lot.
Tatro does that too. But he reaches real deep for people real early. He has a very non-conventional drafting style. I've seen it 2 years in a row now, which is fine. But I mean,
hell, I'm beating Mikey. I don't care.
I still can't believe Dixon drafted Harambe.
Oh yeah, for the last pick.
I wish I had drafted Harambe.
Oh no, wait, no, that was.
I have several spots on my team that would have been better served by drafting Harambe than what I actually did.
I heard that NFL is allowing people to get Harambe on jerseys again.
Yes, actually needs to happen.
You can order. Oh, they stopped it, but now you can.
Which I don't know why. Like, what?
Why are we all so obsessed with Harambe? I mean, it's funny. I'm on fucking board. It's really amusing, but why have we latched on to Harambe so hard?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not the lion that died a couple of years ago. What was it, Cecil the lion?
Right.
Like, it's just this fucking gorilla. Like, is it just the name? Is it because he's named Harambe? Is that?
Well, no. The whole reason the internet caught fire with it is because I forget the exact story, but basically some guy was like whacked out of his mind on drugs and had whipped his dick out in public. And when the police questioned him about it, he was like, "Oh, I got my dick out for my man Harambe."
Is that really where it comes from?
Yeah.
I've been wondering where dicks out for
sense.
Harambe has come from for like a month now.
Yeah, that's I mean, completely paraphrased story, but that's pretty much the gist
I
of
can't
it.
wait to read the real version.
It's
of the
gonna be
story.
nothing like that.
How much different?
Like I totally made that up in my head. That's entirely possible, but
Mikey's fucking fever dream about Harambe.
dicks out. Dicks out.
That's what his brain came up with to explain dicks out for Harambe.
Whatever, makes sense to me.
Who has Odell Beckham Odell
Bacon.
Odell Bacon Cheeseburger? Yeah, don't you have him? In one league or another?
Wait, I have him in the other league. I don't have him in this.
Yeah, I got him in my Portales league.
He's having like a mental collapse. He said like he's not having fun playing anymore. Get a terrible game on Sunday. And now
he got some mental brain damage from that hit he took by that kicking net.
It's either that or the bleach.
Yeah, either one of the fumes must have got to the brain cells.
There was also several interesting calls this week in the NFL. There were a couple of like big taunting calls. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There was a taunting call for shooting an arrow. There's another taunting call too, and I don't remember the circumstances behind that one. But the NFL is really cracking down this year on players taunting one another.
Specifically twerking.
I'm okay with that.
Wait, who was it?
It was Antonio Brown that did the initial twerking,
and then Emmanuel
Sanders did a 3-pump dance, and it was apparently okay because that was it.
He had minimal twerk movement, I guess. It's like a foot. So it's like how many you have to make a conscious football move for it to count as a reception. It's like if you only do like 2 pumps, it doesn't count as twerking.
15-yard penalty, intentional twerking maneuver.
Did you ever see that shitty like Sinbad movie back in the day? It was like intentional roughness or with something like that, and
unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, but it was like necessary roughness.
It was necessary. Was it like a parody of a football movie?
Yeah, it was like it wanted to be Major League but with football, but it was really really bad. Not that Major League is like the pinnacle of cinema, but
Major League was pretty good. Major League hasn't aged well. It's very 90s.
Nothing from that time period has aged very well.
That is actually pretty true. There's nothing. I often wonder what like the 2000s now the 2010s is going to look like, 10, 20 years from now. Like how shitty is everything going to look now?
God, it's gonna look horrible.
Everything from like 1990 to 1996 looks like complete and total garbage put together by psychopaths.
Yeah, like those old cool like NFL plays, like they look like shit.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like you look at a sports recording from like early 2000s, it looks like the 70s. Like was that recorded on like an old film camera? Like
yeah, it's literally what it looks like.
It's like 8mm. Insane. Who did this?
Over the course of like what 10 years, it's just changed so much.
It's recorded on a potato. Thanks,
did,
internet.
Did you guys see that video?
Thanks.
It was on the internet. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Probably.
It was a guy.
You're talking to the two most internet addicted people.
It was a guy that came.
We've already made a meme about this.
It was a guy that came across an abandoned Blockbuster with an open door.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
Did you see that?
Is it a time capsule?
So I'm gonna spoil it. But like he finds a Blockbuster and he walks in the door and he's like, holy shit, look at all these like old movies, like all these old movies and games, and there's movies here. What? This is unbelievable. It's like a time capsule to 15 years ago. Like you can see all the movies that were out back then. And he wanders around here for a couple of minutes and then he's like, wait, I think somebody might be here. Who's here? I think one of the employees might be. And then he turns the camera to himself and his name tag. He's like, it's me. I'm the employee. I work here at a Blockbuster in 2016.
What? So wait, I thought Blockbuster went out of business like
apparently
8 years ago.
There were a bunch of like private owners who like Blockbuster sold the rights to people who already like ran them, and now they own them. So they have all the Blockbuster branding.
They're not
necessarily. It was actually a pretty funny reveal. But yeah, there's still a handful of actual Blockbuster video locations.
That's funny. I didn't see the whole video, but that's actually pretty funny.
All right, so are we gonna take these shots? And then I do have a question for the two of you.
All right, let's do this for
virtual tears
for Taco Tuesday, and we'll
Taco
cheers.
Lips.
We'll cheers over the Jafar.
All right, there you go.
Oh fuck, tequila! God damn it.
You'll be all right. I'm waiting for Toro to just like the we'll play the Popeye music in the background. He's like,
I
I
hate that there was video of that because I just did the like little girl shudder where I was like, "Oh, tequila. Oh."
All right. So what's this question?
I'm just curious. So how old are you, Toro? I don't even know.
27.
Okay. So did you go to Blockbuster a lot when you were a kid?
I did, actually.
Okay. And like go and rent new movies and stuff like that.
Yep. Like every Friday, me and my parents would go get new movies for the weekend.
And I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the experience of, and I'm sorry to any of our younger listeners, watchers who might be out there, because we're going to sound super old. To me, the experience
Imagine if you could physically walk into Netflix.
The load times were
Dreamwipe.
absolutely ridiculous.
And that's exactly my point. To me, the experience of walking into Blockbuster with somebody I was going to watch a movie with and walking that exterior wall of all the quote-unquote new movies is still a superior experience for choosing a movie to watch than anything that Netflix or HBO Go or anybody like that has come up with.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Yeah.
There is a certain amount of experience to it. Because, I mean, if you compared them side by side and you frame it in just the simplest forms of what is going on, if you showed people, like, as a family walking through a store, like, deciding which two movies to pick.
Right.
And then, and you know, you got to really nail that new release because those have to be back early.
Right.
You get the 2-day rental.
Remember that bullshit?
And you got to do the thing where all the new releases are gone. Let's go check up at the counter to see if they have any returns.
They've returned them.
And then make them check the bin in case somebody has returned Braveheart in between the time and they haven't checked any back in. Yeah.
Man. But if you show that and then you show somebody sitting like with their controller or their Xbox or whatever and scrolling,
that is so...
being disappointed as you go through thousands of movies, like there's nothing to watch.
That is such an irritating process to me, though.
You either got another name of the shit you're looking for, or you're gonna spend hours scouring through that library.
You know what I do
Maybe
really hate?
There's too many. Maybe that's it.
Right.
It's like going into the interior shelves of Blockbuster where he's like, no, fuck that noise.
Nobody
does
does
that.
Display as opposed to like the front of the...
But you know, Netflix would completely change my opinion on their company if they just allowed you to properly select all the suggested movies. Because it's like, why do I need like 30 different categories most of it? Because you watched whatever bullshit Steven Seagal movie that I put on that I could fall asleep to.
Detective dramas based on the East Coast featuring a strong female lead.
Yeah. But then because you watch that and then it puts more action dramas and more action movies and then you have 9 things with the same movies in them.
Wait until little Mikey gets older and Netflix thinks you're a goddamn child.
Nope. We already created his own profile.
Which would be awesome, except Roku doesn't like recognize all that kind of shit. So
Really?
like, yeah, Connor likes watching Transformers Robots in Disguise. And so we go on and we let him. Roku doesn't support multiple accounts.
Well, you don't like watching it either?
Yeah.
I do like it, but what I don't like
we're gonna
is
fight.
when
Yeah, seriously, what? It's like saying you don't like Voltron.
Connor's. Oh man, Connor and I have been watching Voltron, the new Voltron on Netflix.
Yes.
That's been tons of fun.
Wait, there's a new Voltron?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like how sucky
Netflix
it
brought it
was.
back out. It's pretty good. Oh man, actually, you know what? This might be a good bit because Toro called me into question. Can you call my phone?
What? Okay. I'm curious now.
Oh, I got to turn off the do not disturb. Hang on.
Okay.
I turned it off because of the but yeah, no, Netflix doesn't support the multiple accounts. So like now my entire
Roku or whatever.
Yeah, Roku doesn't support multiple accounts. So now it just thinks I'm a child. It's just Bubble Guppies and Transformers and
The
every
Wiggles.
piece of shit that Marvel has ever put out, and it's just it drives me nuts. Did you call or no?
No, I haven't. Are you good to go?
Yeah, go ahead, call it.
So, I am genuinely
Are
curious
you?
to see what is going on here.
You're gonna like this.
Are we gonna?
Yes. Yes. That's awesome.
Is it coming through?
It's picking it up. That's awesome.
Like I don't like Voltron. I don't know why
That's
I did that.
fantastic.
I saw I think somebody at work has a little Voltron sticker on their nameplate outside their office. I was like, oh yeah. The original Voltron does not hold up, by the way.
Oh no, I actually didn't care for it much when I was a kid either.
Yeah, I don't know why I kind of. Does the board still work?
I know. It just kicked the audio cable. I was like, oh, we're done.
No, the new Voltron's it's pretty fun. I like it. It's more like modern anime, but it's worth watching.
When did nerd culture become socially acceptable? I mean, I'm okay with it.
2011.
Probably. It's like May 2011. It was a Thursday.
I think.
Toro, stop watching porn on your phone.
No.
Can we watch porn on our phones during this? Is that a thing that we can do?
You already talked about an erection.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
he's watching porn. You're watching biker
I've got
boys.
access to your.
Furiously masturbating. I'm gonna get out of the splash zone. This sounds. Get me the fuck out of here.
What was the question? Nerd culture becoming acceptable. It had to do with, I feel like, the rise of comic book movies, right?
It becomes more socially acceptable to be a nerd when those movies did come out. The movies have been coming out like that for a while now, but the biggest mainstream obviously was the Iron Man movie that really set everything down a path. So,
well, I don't know. What about X-Men, Spider-Man?
Yeah, see,
I think that's a different niche. I think Iron Man.
Well, I don't necessarily say they're good movies or anything, but I mean that was what really started making it okay. Although it's kind of weird because I remember when we were young in elementary school and they had the Marvel collector's cards that everyone liked. Even all the people that ended up, we go into middle school and high school and they're all jocks and we're sitting there fucking losers there and
playing Magic, that kind of shit.
I give a lot of credit to, I think it's Bryan Singer, who directed the first X-Men movie.
He did some of them. I don't remember.
I don't remember whether he did the first one or not. So the first X-Men movie, because I remember seeing the article that said, here's what the new X-Men are going to look like. Because up until then, the X-Men had been Cyclops in his blue spandex with his crazy fucking yellow goggles and Wolverine with whatever the fuck those weird black things coming up off the side of his head were. And it was
suit, right?
It was nuts. And then this new X-Men Vision came out and they were all in these, I mean, they were still kind of doofy, but they were these kind of black, blue sort of, I don't want to say leather, but they looked like they were more uniforms. And they still had the X, and it was
it looked like it made sense.
It was the first time where I was like, holy shit, we can put this kind of weird stuff on a screen without it seeming super outrageous and nerdy.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what kicked, nerd stuff into popular culture, but it certainly put us down that right line. I think you nailed it with Iron Man. Iron Man was a huge one, right? Because I mean that launched the
Marvel
MCU,
universe.
right?
That aspect of it, yeah.
But
get that lovely shirt back.
Yeah, don't let that fold.
Sponsored by Dixon Bombs.
And can't get right.
Oh man.
Oh Jesus.
You gotta get them to change that.
What am I doing here?
We got you to trade her.
They're gonna talk so much shit.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh man.
That's a good point.
So anybody that's not familiar, Toro is sort of the technician for Dixon Cast featuring Adam, and so I
don't play a huge role in that one aside from just sitting there.
I gotta ask,
twiddling my thumbs.
You say Dixon Cast featuring Adam. I don't know what that means.
So it's actually called Can't Get Right Podcast.
Okay.
With Stanley Dixon.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yep.
And then
Chance Wills.
Yes.
Which is his rap name.
Oh, I get it now.
But
okay.
his actual name is Adam. So whenever I just want to bug him.
And he drives a Prius.
I know we love talking shit about them. Kid's got skills. I like his shit.
He is pretty good.
Chance, yeah, man. Just hear it. I just heard a couple of their opening tracks. Like I keep trying to listen to their show, but SoundCloud sucks a dick. So mostly what I hear is the opening 15 minutes. But yeah, no,
and then it doesn't save it. Yeah,
yeah, it drives
that's
me
a
nuts.
pain. But no, he can rap, man. He's and especially it's like it's not always like the style rap that I like, but he's got the talent. So.
Yeah, he does some creative stuff, man. I like it. I've only heard a couple of his tracks. Yeah.
I mean, Dixon still sucks.
But fuck, can't get right. Just so we're clear on our position there.
But yeah, so that's why I call it. We always joke that it's actually the Dixon cast featuring Adam. Their first few episodes, I haven't been keeping up with it recently, but their first few episodes, they sort of argued back and forth about was it their co-hosts or sidekick or...
Episode 11, Dixon called him his co-star.
Yeah.
I feel like we can really drive a wedge in there if we work on it.
Yeah, God forbid I talk. They just tell me to shut the fuck up the second I open my mouth. Like it's
right.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Like,
let this man get creative. Look at what he's got to offer.
I really have nothing to offer to that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's what they talk about. I have no interest in talking about. It's pretty bad. Like the rap shit that they talk about, no one cares.
No. The anniversary of Tupac's death.
That and Tupac, he's awesome. Like I respect him. I respect him as an artist, all that whatnot. But
you light a candle
like all that
on
other
the
shit about
anniversary
Meek
of his
Mill,
death every
like,
year.
What the fuck? Like no one cares about Meek Mill. That's not relevant. Like what the fuck? Nicki Minaj, who cares? She's a fucking like.
I work
bimbo.
with her at Nottingham's.
Oh, that one. Yeah, she's a little.
I'm just kidding. This girl does look like Nicki Minaj.
She's a little out there.
That'd be pretty sweet if Nicki Minaj
also
just
bartended
she
in
bartended at Nottingham's one day a week. Like you never know when this rap game's not gonna pan out.
It's like I'm trying to keep my options out there.
I'm hoping they give me a 401k at some point.
Thanks, Obama.
Ridiculous.
Jesus.
She works a plane ticket back to Columbia, Maryland into her rider for Friday night shows. I gotta get back from my other gig.
But speaking of, since we were talking about the whole nerd culture thing that's sort of taken over, and how the effect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I know Toro's watched it. The Luke Cage came out on Netflix. Yes. You haven't seen it yet, right? Correct, Tristan?
Yeah, I wish I had. I'm just
busy.
All right, so hold on. Let's start at the beginning as far as the Netflix shows.
Yes.
So Daredevil came out first, correct?
Yes.
That was their first
Jessica
one.
Jones.
Yeah. And to be honest, I had no idea who Jessica Jones was until
I didn't either.
And when it came out, I was like, oh, okay. No, you're not. I love the attitude in all of those shows. Like it's just a little darker. It's not as campy as some of the stuff. There is still some humor, but it's not as.
They have a lot more creative freedom with that.
It's not as like, the Marvel movies are all sort of like, they're serious points, but then there's a lot of like joking back and forth banter and stuff. There's not as much of that in these shows. Almost none, really.
You're right. It does have it's the reverse of the cinematic universe. It's very dark with a few moments of light, whereas the Marvel movies are very light with they've got to go dark occasionally. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, which I think is perfect because I think that's what's turned me away from DC as far as their movies recently anyway. Because of like Batman versus Superman and a lot of all the Nolan Batmans, aside from some of the characters, I've argued for ages that they're hot pile.
Which one was your favorite out of all the Batmans? Which one was your favorite? Like back from Tim Burton all the way up to now.
I don't know. They all have their flaws, like because I went back and watched the Tim Burton ones, and I loved the blend of atmosphere with the story, but they're still super campy. Like people like to hate on Batman versus Robin and like Batman Forever, and those are really bad movies.
Val Kilmer.
But all the other ones, they aren't that great either. Like I think the problem I have with the Nolan Batmans is that everybody frames them as this pinnacle of like superhero cinema, and they're not. I don't think they're that great. I think they're good movies.
Like, holy shit, it was recorded in IMAX. Oh my god, it must be good.
I think Batman Begins, the first half of Batman Begins, is one of the only realistic's the wrong word. It's one of the only Batman films that's made me believe that somebody would actually do something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they threw it all out the window.
In the second half?
And then the next two movies.
I mean, I like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, I think, was the better out of all three movies.
Like, Dark Knight's pretty good.
But I agree. I'll do the quick breakdown. Batman Begins, first half, great. Like, it's an origin story that you actually care about, and everyone's sick of origin stories in superhero movies.
First 2/3, until the train appears. Until the train gets mentioned, it's a quality film, and it goes downhill way fast. Yep.
The second one, Dark Knight, the villains are fantastic. That's it. I love I can't I can't think of the actor's name right now.
Christian Bale.
Okay. I love Christian Bale as an actor. I think he's got a lot of range. He's great. He doesn't make a good Batman. You cannot do that like tough guy Batman voice when you have a lisp. He sounds like he's got a dick in his mouth. You can't be fucking kidding me. You're not. If I was a criminal, this guy came down wearing a bat costume and like tried to grumble at me with a lisp, I'd laugh in his fucking face.
Yeah, why does nobody ever shoot Batman? I mean, that's the big question, right?
I mean but that's superhero movie. But
right.
But what I'm saying, the story in that is terrible. Like they waste two very good villains. I think the problem is the Nolan Batmans view villains as disposable. So like, I mean, Scarecrow is kind of not very memorable, whatever.
He was disposable. I get that.
But they should have. I don't know. They could have connected a lot more of it. Anyway, but obviously, Joker, you had the problem. I mean, Heath Ledger dying. There's nothing you can do about that. But why kill off Two-Face when Aaron Eckhart did a great job with that? I thought he was good. But the story itself was just full of holes and just weak. And it wasn't in that light. When you have a super serious movie, you can't have those kind of holes. Marvel gets away with it because it's a lot more lighthearted and you don't really notice it as much. If you have me, like, if you're trying to get me emotionally invested into a movie and then it's just, you're like, well, why didn't he do that? Like, because it's too much time to think. Because to get that drama, you have to have like more pauses. It's not like people just spitting witty banter back and forth at each other.
I guess I agree. I on the flip side of that coin, I forgive a lot of stuff in like the Iron Man movies, for example, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they're all fine to me. Like, that, I don't expect a lot from them because of their tone.
Yeah.
I expect a lot from, and we talked about this on the old Last Call podcast, I expected a lot from Civil War because its tone was so dark and so serious. You have to get a lot of those little tiny plot points right. You can't bullshit around and just sweep stuff under the rug. You've got to pay attention to the little details. You've got to make the plots realistic.
But you have to balance along that fine line, no matter how you're gonna, do that sort of movie. I mean, a superhero movie, it's not very realistic anyway. But so there's a certain amount of leeway you have with the storytelling where you can just do whatever the fuck you want. But you have to have like something interesting or like, yeah. So Marvel, it's like you'll have those holes in the story, but like the movie itself is just kind of fun. The Nolan Batmans and Batman vs Superman, it's just like fucking depressing. So
I guess that's it. I guess if you have enough fun, you can just be like, you know what, fuck it, I don't really. Yeah, I mean, nothing made sense. Like, everything was convoluted.
No one complains about like plot fuck ups in like summer blockbusters because you don't need a plot.
Spider-Man 2, you know.
Just, I don't know. Some of the
You
Spider-Man
know
movies were really bad, but
I don't know.
but like
Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, I think is one of the best.
I don't remember. But anyway,
Doc
hold on.
Ock and like.
Hey,
I mean,
we're getting off track
right.
here. So finally,
Sorry, I didn't know we had a track.
We don't, but this is what always happens. So we're gonna get back to it. So
Luke Cage.
we're gonna finish Batman and then go back to the Marvel Netflix.
All right.
So the final.
Lead on, El Capitan.
The final Batman, Nolan Batman, which everybody loves because of Bane.
Good callback. Okay.
So
you're right. We were talking about that.
Yeah, everybody loves Bane, and they talk about what a great movie that is. But I think that movie as a whole is the biggest steaming pile of horseshit I've ever seen.
That was a pretty bad one. I agree.
It's pretty bad. Bane is cool, and then spoiler alert, he dies in the most boring fashion ever.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, we just spent this time building up the best villain, and then it's just like, oh, and he's dead. And you're like,
it wasn't even Batman that killed him. It was just bullshit.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
But I feel like Dark Knight Rises' tone is almost campy.
But unintentionally so.
I disagree. I think it's way less serious of a tone than the Dark Knight is. The Dark Knight is supposed to be serious, right?
Yeah.
Like the Joker is supposed to be a very scary character.
But the Dark Knight had characters that could carry that narrative.
But I don't think
Bane
they were meant to.
Bane being like a kind of muscly 5'8" dude in a mumbling into a ski mask.
That was a servant to somebody else. It was fucking.
It's like it's not a strong enough character. Bane was never meant to be the focus of anything. Like he's not an interesting.
He's an assassin technically from the comics. So
yeah, but the arch nemesis of Batman being again a brilliant. Oh, I'm gonna fuck up this word. Strategist.
Yeah, that's like.
I was gonna try to go to like strategist and then just being a brilliant tactician. Thank you.
Bam, nailed it.
Yeah, you got it. Being a brilliant tactician was interesting to me. That was fun. Like, you know, he was scary not because he was physically imposing, although he was, but he was also really smart, right? And had this army who would do anything for him. I don't know.
But I see. I didn't like that.
I have shitty taste in movies, though. That's something you'll learn about me. I don't really have good taste in movies. I like shit. I don't really care.
Biker Boys.
Biker Boys. I'm on board with Biker Boys.
But speaking about the whole Batman thing, you were saying that you heard about the new Ben Affleck Batman.
Yes, we have a title for the new Ben Affleck Batman movie. Do you know what it is?
I know it.
Get ready to have your mind blown. The Batman.
The Batman.
That's the working title at the moment.
The Batman.
Oh, it's a working title.
That's what he says, but you know.
He says, yeah, that's what we're going with for now. But
Batfleck.
But I am kind of pumped to see where they're going to go with the villain. You know who the villain's going to be?
Oh, I think I do. I don't remember.
Deathstroke, supposedly.
See, I don't know much about Deathstroke. I wish I did, but
think of a more serious Deadpool. I guess would be the most.
I mean, that's what Deadpool was ripped off from. So,
yeah.
I wanted to see them do Killing Joke. I thought that was the way to go.
I was disappointed in the animated version that they had in theaters.
Yeah, I heard the animated version was dog shit. But like you referenced it in Batman vs Superman, right? Like you had the Robin costume. You know, find a good Joker who's not fucking what's his name from
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, who apparently ate a bag of shit.
Did you? You didn't like
it was horrible, dude.
Really?
I didn't bother watching.
The only good thing about the entire movie was the soundtrack. That was it.
Well, that's and I guarantee you they tossed that in after the fact.
Oh yeah,
because they're like Guardians of the Galaxy had cool, like fun, nostalgic music. We can do that too. But I don't know. Tone changes a lot of things, like how you view a movie. But that's why I wanted to talk about the Netflix Marvel shows, because I think they struck that proper balance that the Batman movies and Batman vs Superman wanted to do, where it's like it's dark, it's serious, but it's like it's still interesting and it makes sense. And I don't know if that's because it's broken up into a show and you got a little more time. And
I mean, the writers over at that ABC has the same writers who do the stuff for the Netflix shows, and like their writing is incredible. I mean, I love what they do with their. I mean, right now the Agents of Shield that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually enjoy watching that show.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually really
I
good.
I made it like I don't know halfway through the first season. I was like,
It takes a little bit to pick up.
That's
but
what I
once
heard.
it gets going, it's.
I heard you got to
crazy.
push through the first season,
and you have to be up to date on all the Marvel movies to really like continue the story.
Well, that's what got me that far, because they would reference the movies. I was like, that's kind of cool. I love when there's those little like connections, but
yeah, I mean, it's the writers that really like take it to the next level.
I can't believe that those are written by the same people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's a cinematography in those movies that really, or I mean, those shows that really do it for me. Where it's like the Agents of Shield sort of keeps up that sort of like jovial like Marvel Cinematic Universe mentality, but the Netflix shows throw that out the window and just make their own like dark, interesting drama. I mean, and I don't know, and they've done it with some characters that nobody gives a shit about. Like,
I mean, all the characters that they have so far are mainly from like the boroughs in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, I just actually realized that for the first time. I was like, holy shit, you got Hell's Kitchen, you got the Bronx.
Yeah, I honestly had no idea that Hell's Kitchen was a real place.
Yeah. But no, it's crazy.
It was a surprising revelation.
It was awesome how they referenced all that shit, and I didn't, I don't know where the new one, what's his Iron
Luke
Fist,
Cage.
Iron Fist that comes out in February.
Yeah.
That one apparently is.
I'm wondering how they're going to do that, because Iron Fist is very goofy. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they're gonna.
I mean, they got a guy with a Jufro playing the main character. Like, it's pretty.
Who's the?
I don't know what the guy's name is. I forget, but I saw the teaser trailer for it a couple weeks ago. Jufro with like a gigantic beard. Like that's the first image you see of him. Like he's breaking through a wall, and you're just like, okay, cool.
I'll have to check that out, because that was the weirdest one to me. Like, Daredevil made sense, you break it down and make a little more realistic costume instead of like red spandex.
Yeah, not the Ben Affleck version.
Luke Cage, you throw out the whole cheesy 70s wardrobe.
They made the reference to it, which was awesome.
They do have a great like cameo appearance of his outfit. As soon as he came out, I'm gonna try not to spoil, but as soon as he comes out of one spot and I could tell they were gonna make it look like his costume. I was like, oh wait.
All you see is the reflection, but it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's so.
But Luke Cage, I'm only like halfway through. You said you finished. You haven't seen it.
Iron Fist is going to be played by the gay knight on Game of Thrones, Marjorie Tyrell's brother.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's who's. He does have a.
Jufro.
I totally forgot about him in Game of Thrones until they're like, she was going to like visit him or whatever before that all ended.
Before the whole thing.
The whole thing that we're not going to spoil.
We're not going to spoil it all. I don't know. We probably can't at this point.
I think we're safe at this point.
I'm not gonna, but fuck you if you haven't.
I don't even watch Game of Thrones, but
you should.
You don't watch it at all?
Nope.
All right.
Fag.
One, I don't have HBO.
Man,
and two,
it's the most stolen television show in the history of television shows. It's like it's okay at this point. It's like there's a riot on Game of Thrones. Like you're okay to go in and smash a window. I just go on YouTube
and watch all the death scenes, which are pretty cool. But aside from that, I really don't watch this show.
It's fun. I guess. I do love Game of Thrones.
I love Game of Thrones because it throws traditional storytelling for a loop, because you're like,
anyone can go at any moment.
Yeah, this is a super important, and they're dead. You're like, what the fuck just happened? I love that uncertainty. It makes it more interesting.
What's the guy's name that makes it? Like
George R. Martin.
There's like 15 R's there in Martin.
Or two.
Like he made it like a tweet or something. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to get a gauge like whose everyone's favorite character is, and I'm just plan on killing him off anyway. Like he has a sadistic apparently like sense when it comes to all of his writings, which is great. I mean, I love seeing the hopes and dreams dashed of the people to watch these shows. And
I don't know. That was pretty easy early on, but I think he's settled into a set of characters he's pretty attached to. I think that's going to change here shortly.
Probably the ones that are making like 500,000 an episode. I just heard from my wife that they all make like 500,000 an episode. They are apparently bringing back Gilmore Girls, and the mom and daughter from the show are making like 750,000 an episode.
What the fuck?
And I was like, it's like that's a show that's got to be 10, 15 years off the air. I don't know how long it ran, but that's got to be a long time. Why would anybody pay that kind of money
and want that show back to begin with? Like,
I don't know.
Well, every show's got some sort of following, but I can't imagine, because I can't imagine either of those two have done anything in acting since.
The daughter I know was in Sin City for the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But every time
that was it. That's all I remember her from.
There is a hint of some sort of Gilmore Girls activity, I see ripples of it on Facebook. Like, that is clearly a series that there is a group of people. Your wife is probably included in that.
I have unfortunately seen quite a bit of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah.
No, man. People apparently are super big on the Gilmore Girls. Like, we're probably underestimating how important this is to people's lives.
750.
This is how you would feel if there was like a Mr. Belvedere reunion. You know, you would pay a lot of money to see that happen.
I never watched Mr. Belvedere. I do remember that existing, though.
I have no idea what that is.
He's lying right now. Yeah, you're too young.
No, they should bring back all those
only by a couple of years.
90 shows that were ahead of their time, like Rocko's Modern Life, all that shit, like that. That's
I don't know, because they've sort of kept that style of.
You have any idea how raunchy that shit was back then?
There's even shit like SpongeBob has a lot of.
Well, nowadays, yeah, I mean that was supposed to originally be an adult show.
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, that shit was.
They got away with a lot of shit.
You can put Ren and Stimpy on any children's network these days. You could barely put that on Fox during the daytime.
Yeah, like that was ridiculous. But that show, you had Invader Zim, which was ahead of its time. Like
I loved Invader Zim. I started watching that again recently.
Yeah, like what else? I like the Angry Beavers. The same guy that does the voice for Zim does the voice for Daggett on.
Nice.
Now you're too young for us.
Too young for you guys.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are old as fuck. What are you guys, 40?
I was anyway. Yeah. Close enough. That's.
I keep Tristan around just so I don't feel like I'm the oldest. He's just slightly older.
What is it like? Slightly. It's like 8 months or something, 7 months, something like that.
If it's that much. So
you're end of February.
Yeah, I'm end of February.
I'm like end of October. March, April, May, June, July.
Quick math.
August, September. I ran out of fingers. October. 8 months.
Oh, it is 8 months. Damn. Man, good call. I'm like, he's like, what is it, like 8 months? It's like, but who's counting?
Yeah, I just Rain Man that shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like that scene in
definitely 8 months.
In Hangover, where he's like,
thank you. I couldn't come up with the name of the goddamn movie.
You're right there. We got it. Yeah.
Toro, we have a price of entry here at the Last Call podcast that you have to pay now.
Oh, okay.
You need to tell the story of the dumbest thing that you did when you were a child that almost got you killed.
It almost got me killed.
Yeah. Like dumbest,
hypothetically speaking.
Or like kidnapped or raped
Allegedly.
or whatever.
Allegedly.
Something really stupid.
Yeah, we just need a good, like, stupid story from your childhood.
From my childhood.
And by childhood, we mean, like, anything
before
like,
today.
Before now.
Probably.
I mean, you could tell some good. We should probably get some people in here and tell some Diamondback stories.
Oh God, Diamondback stories.
We can do that.
Like
you can tell one of those now.
I'm trying to think back. I mean, there's a couple of good ones, but like.
It's a shame I can't remember any of them.
Yeah, no, I was kind of.
Did you light things on fire? Did you go on an adventure with your friends down a set of railroad tracks and find a dead body and have to reconcile with your transition into adulthood? Like, is that?
No, like.
Did you get sent to detention with a bunch?
Were you friends with Will Wheaton when you were a kid?
No, I mean, like back when I was in college, I was fucking around with some really sketchy people. And at one point, like we were going to a house party and all that stuff. You know, we're all just having drinks, having a good time. I was participating in some extracurricular activities during that time.
What was his name?
Fuck you, for one.
Oh man, I was trying to figure it out and I couldn't get there. Well done.
But no, like the party ended up getting held up. Like some guys actually showed up that were that had guns and whatnot, and I mean, I snuck out the back. I jumped out the third floor window and landed on the ground, but they ended up like robbing everybody.
Real quick, I know you were probably smaller then.
I was smaller. I was considered smaller.
This
is a bay window, so I had no problems.
I was gonna say you were still probably a pretty big boy. I imagine somebody from the outside going like you know, there is a giant Mexican coming out of the top of it.
It was like house. 2009, so if you felt like a little bit of a rumble on the seismic scale, like it was me.
Hashtag never forget.
Hashtag never forget.
I was imagining one of those like 18-inch circular windows that you see at the top of garages.
God, it's like
you ever seen where like a fat cat is coming in through the like tiny cat door? It's like it was pretty much that, huh?
Like yeah, it was pretty bad, but ended up jumping out the third floor window. And then on the second floor roofing, jumped back down and just sprinted for my life. But everyone downstairs apparently got all their shit stolen, like money, phones, watches. Someone stole some shoes. It was fucking crazy. Like
that's nuts.
Like I just got out of my car and just dipped.
Anybody get like hurt or caught or?
No, I mean like the cops ended up showing up obviously after everything went down. I mean, everyone was fine, but for them it was a fairly traumatizing experience because. How often you get a gun like pointed in your face, kind of thing. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's not fun for anybody.
You ever have that happen?
A gun pointed at me?
Or anybody try to rob you or anything like that?
No, nope, it's never happened to me. No.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
just kidding. I always love to tell the story with like no context because I'll say, yeah, I had a guy try to rob me once. He's dead now. Because that is not a lie. I did have a guy try to rob me, and he is dead. I just had nothing to do with it.
How did he die?
The guy tried to rob me, and I was working in the restaurant industry. I had a ton of money in my pocket, and I just was like, oh no, like. He's like, empty your pockets. And I was like, I don't have, and avoiding the pocket that obviously has a giant wad of cash in it. And I was like, oh, I don't have any money. And then,
where were you working?
Huh?
Where were you working?
Rocky Run days.
Okay.
But it was like, it was in the middle of Severna Park. And the guy tries to, his way of trying to convince me, he's pointing a 38 at me. And I'm not giving him money, and he knows I have money. So he pistol whips me in the top of my head. I still have a scar along my hairline.
Jesus.
And he pistol whips me, hits me again, and blood starts rushing down my face. And I was like, well, I need to do something here. So I reach out and grab, it was somebody that knew a friend of mine. And I reach out, so I'm in the back seat of a car. And he's in the passenger seat and trying to rob me. It was like all set up. Oh, I think it was by the guy that I knew, who's also a piece of shit.
Jesus.
You'll know who that is. I'll tell you, not on recording.
Great. Okay.
He turns around and points the gun at me, whatever, pistol whips me, and I reach out and with my lead hand, which is my right hand, I grab the gun and point it towards the driver, who I don't know, but is friends with this guy. And then just start awkwardly punching with my left hand over and punching him in the face. And then manage to open the door and get out. And like I'm like stumbling away from the car and I hear clicking. So I don't.
Holy shit.
I don't know if that was in my head or what, but.
Or if the gun didn't work or.
I don't know. But that
wasn't loaded kind of deal. Or like, I didn't realize.
But I had to go testify. The guy went to jail for, I don't know, like 5 years or something like that.
And so they grabbed him. They found him and grabbed him.
I gave a description.
Oh, because you knew the intermediary.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, I knew kind of who he was, It was like a shitty family. The whole family was a bunch of fucktards.
Okay.
And so I kind of knew he was. I gave a description of him, a description of the car, the driver, where it all went down. I picked him out of a lineup, went and testified, sent him to jail. He got out like 2 years later, dies of a drug overdose. I was like, it's like that guy had dreams. I was like, yeah.
Problem solved.
Along with like 3 other people that were part of that crew, like a whole bunch of them died of drug overdoses. It was like, Jesus.
Remember that kid we knew? It was middle school. I think we were 8th grade. We called him Deadhead.
Yeah.
Do you know you still remember his real name? I want to say it was Justin, but I don't remember.
I think that might be right. I'm trying to remember the last name, but I don't want to say that.
But he used to fuck with us in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
At the lunch table. Then he died of a goddamn drug overdose, like in between 7th and 8th grade.
Well, yeah, I think it was because it was like sixth grade. He's being a shithead to us, and then we just were like, yeah, whatever. And I started making fun of him, and we just mocked him.
Right.
So it was your fault.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. He was
yeah. Like Mikey turned the tables on this kid. Like I think it was
that
6th
was when
grade. Like 6th grade, he would fuck with us, and we were like
trolling people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, he would fuck with us pretty hard, and as I recall it, like he knew there was a certain amount he'd get away with, and there was a certain amount that he couldn't, and he would fuck with us just enough that we didn't do anything back, and then some switch flipped. I think in maybe 7th grade, where Mikey told him to go fuck himself, and this shit was coming to an end, and it did almost immediately.
I actually had gym class with him that year, 7th grade.
Right. Yeah. And I think that played a big part of it. And then I think it was in the summer between like 7th and 8th grade, motherfucker died of a drug overdose. And I remember at the time being like, oh yeah, well, that's what happens to shitheads. Like, you know,
it's a
like
shame because do you remember he had a brother who was actually like a really nice guy.
No,
I can't remember his name, but it was like one of the first like super flamboyant gay dudes that I remember.
Oh really? So am I making fun of somebody whose brother's gonna listen to this and be like, oh, I'm
no,
super...
Okay,
know. All right.
I don't remember.
I don't know if it's like a guy you still knew.
I remember his brother existing. That's about the extent of it.
But now that I look back at it, I'm like, who fucking dies of a drug overdose after 7th grade? What, that kid must have been fucked up. I feel like maybe we were kind of lucky that he didn't come in and shoot up the place. Holy shit.
He's too busy shooting up.
Well, yeah, clearly. Jesus.
But
I'll look that up.
Anyway,
we're out of Jafar Sand.
Our Jafar Sand has run out.
I don't have anything else on the list we need to talk about this week.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. Toro.
Do you want to plug something? You can plug something.
Well, I'm a photographer. My website's www.toroproductions.net. I do all types of photography. You know, hit me up if you guys are looking to do any like headshots, car photography. I've just started doing that, family portraits and stuff like that. But you know, I'm open to pretty much just about anything. So
he's practically homeless. So,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Throw him
on my car.
Toro
Let him take some fucking pictures of something. God damn it.
You heartless bastards. Yeah,
what the fuck?
Toro was also affected by the Ellicott City flood, so
life's been tough the past few months.
Damn it! I just realized. Should I rush that story real quick? Because we were at Fells Fest, Fells Point Fun Festival, and so
we don't need to rush anything. This is
but I feel like we're disobeying the Jafar Sand.
Okay, all right.
Yep. All right, so I'll just tell the story real quick. So I mentioned on the last podcast about the Ellicott City shirts where I made the Iwo Jima reference, and I meant it to be a positive one. Well, while I was working the Fells Point Fun Festival over the weekend,
is that really what it's called?
Yep.
Fells Point Fun Festival.
Yeah, they're super creative.
Got it.
So a guy comes up, and I can tell he's just fishing for an argument, and he wants like one of those safe arguments, like I'm gonna like talk over you, blah blah blah, and intimidate you. And he picked the wrong person. But it was so he comes up, he's like asking about the shirts. And it's like, I think he realized he wasn't going to have quite the interaction that he wanted. So then he's like, oh, well, what company are you working with? I was like, oh, well, I made it myself. You know, it's for charity. You know, all the proceeds go to help rebuild Ellicott City. And he's like, that's fucked up, dude.
Jesus.
I was like, hey man, I'm sorry. I don't mean it to be offensive. It's supposed to be a positive thing. It's supposed to be respectful. I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. And he's like, fuck you, dude.
Jesus.
And I was like, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. And I just like chewed this dude out. And you could see he was like a deer in the headlights, like, oh, this guy yelled at me.
Yeah.
Like,
He expected you to be the subservient retail employee. Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, oh no, I can't come back to Fells Point Fun Festival next year. Like, if that's the worst thing that happens, whatever.
Don't take that from me, Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Please let me come back to the Fells Point Fun Festival. It's the only thing I have.
But the guy was just, he came up looking for a fight and then got one and didn't want one. And his friends, he was a Marine and he thought that the connection was offensive. And I'm like,
gonna say some shit I shouldn't. Go ahead.
Nah, but that's the thing. The problem I have with it is like, it doesn't matter that he was in the wrong, you know, because you know I personally agree. I think you do have to support the military, but I think we almost do it to a fault where it's like, you think they can do no wrong. It's like, there are plenty of people in the military. They're fucking idiots. So you have to, like, just because he's in the military doesn't make him a good person. What he's doing as a military serviceman is obviously a good person. I respect the hell out of that job. I would never want to do that. My brother was a Marine, and he told me if I ever joined the military, he'd beat the shit out of me, and I believe him. And it's, you know, that's why I tried to be respectful up front. But then at that point, he was just looking for a fight. And now you're just trying to punk me, and that's not going to work. So it just sucks, because it's like.
So then what happened?
His friends, who are also Marines, came over and apologized for him, and they said, "Dude, we're sorry. We're Marines. We're just really passionate." They were walking away. I was like, "Dude, I understand. I wasn't trying to have anybody get upset over this." And I pulled the shirt after that. I didn't want it out there if it's going to cause an issue.
Oh.
And the guy he had taken a picture of it and posted in like a local Baltimore, like Canton neighbors thing. I had a bunch of people message me about it.
God.
And it's just like, people were like, hey, this guy's like talking a bunch of shit. Like, I just wanted you to know in case you want to defend yourself. And I was like, there's no point. Like, he's already framed it as if I'm insulting the military. There's nothing I can say. That's like going on to a Donald Trump supporters thing and trying to
you're not going to get a win.
Try to logic your way out of an argument, or trying to go to a Hillary Clinton supporters thing and try to logic your way to the other side. It's just not going to work. So it's,
there's no win condition there. Yeah.
I mean, lesson learned, you know, some things you can't, there's always going to be somebody offended about something. And sometimes it's not worth that risk. I'm trying to, respect both Iwo Jima and the loss of life and property and livelihood within Ellicott City. I wasn't trying to disrespect one. But I'm not military, so I guess I don't have any room to speak on it. So
I legitimately don't get the argument for why it's disrespectful.
I don't either, but that's why I tried to be respectful. I was I don't understand why any bit of it is disrespectful. There's nothing about it that compares it to something that lessens the experience or anything like that.
Look, I get if your fraternity creates a T-shirt of an image of fraternity brothers raising a tower of beers or something like that looks like the Iwo Jima monument. I get that. Like you're comparing some mundane everyday activity to something that deserves your utmost respect. I don't know. I honestly don't get why anybody would have a problem with it.
The point is he does have more of an emotional connection to it than I do, so he's also a sensitive.
Our audio listeners aren't going to get that. I don't know how I put that emotion across over the audio.
But yeah.
I mean, it's a video too, so.
I know. I mean, our video listeners are going to get my jerk off cum face motion, but hopefully that's good enough for the audio listeners.
But I mean, that's the point. I don't know.
So are you going to eat the cost on all the shirts?
No. The thing is, after that incident, I sold 2 more shirts because of the people that saw it, and they're like, "That guy's a fucking dick." I sold 2 more shirts because he was an asshole.
Oh, I thought you said you pulled the shirts.
I did, right, after
for a minute,
it all went down,
and then you put them back up.
It was at the end of the night. The guy definitely had a few too many pints of liquid courage because.
Oh, really? A Marine drank too much and started giving you a bunch of shit about the Marines? No. Say it ain't so. That goes for all service branches, by the way. Don't you fucking...
Yeah, we're not just picking on
Yeah, it's not just the Marines. I grew up in Annapolis, okay? You don't think fucking midshipmen do that same shit? Yeah, it happens all over the goddamn planet.
Your dad has been in the Navy for how
long?
Oh,
yeah. Has been involved there for forever. And you know what the weird thing about growing up in Annapolis is? I remember being young, elementary, middle school, high school, and seeing midshipmen and seeing these guys who basically look like naval officers to me. They've got their shit together. These are, big time guys. And then I'm in high school, college, and now they just kind of look like guys that look like I do, except they're in military uniforms, and now I see them as normal people. And now when I see them down there, they just look like children. I'm like, how many of them could I fight simultaneously?
All of them.
All of them. All 4,000 of them at the same. No, that's not true. I'm sorry that fucking happened.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, but it's.
But hey, 2 more shirt sales.
Yeah.
Woo!
I've sold all those shirts. We've raised hundreds.
Oh, are they all gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
I only have a few left, and I needed some of my family wanted some that I haven't put together I want to make sure I have what they wanted first.
Sweet.
But yeah, we raised about $400 for
nice
Ellicott City, because I gave away a bunch to people that were already affected, so
Well, let's hope Ellicott City doesn't get butt-fucked this weekend when Hurricane Matthew comes storming up the coast, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, LastCallPodcast.com, SoundCloud.com/LastCallPodcast. You can find us there.
For all the Android listeners.
Yeah, on SoundCloud. I got to look into Google Play, Google.
I don't know. I feel like that's the only reason to have the SoundCloud thing is because there's no easy way for Android listeners to.
We have an RSS feed now, so I guess all the other feed burner. I don't know. We can talk about that later. I was just trying to plug our shit.
Anyway.
ToroProductions.net. Check me out.
Stop that. We'll cut that out. We'll cut that. We'll cut that out later.
Hashtag fuck you, Toro.
That's about right.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Toro for joining us.
Thanks,
I'm just kidding. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
As always, a partner in crime, Tristan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to everybody for listening. Last Call Podcast. We'll see you again next time.
Later, bitches.
Woo!